On Christmas Eve, in a silent, empty city, a billionaire CEO sat alone on a bench. No family, no one to call, nothing but old memories. And in the middle of the freezing night, a tiny girl walked up to him, looked into his broken eyes, and whispered words that shattered his soul. "Don't cry, mister. You can borrow my mom." What happened next? He never expected it. Before this story melts your heart, remember one thing. Sometimes the smallest kindness comes from the people who have the least. If you believe that, tap like. And let's begin. Ethan Hale, 42, one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. A man who had money, power, respect, and the coldest Christmas Eve of his life. For the 5th year in a row, he sat outside the city children's hospital, alone. Every Christmas used to be different. His wife, Clara, warm, gentle, always smiling, would bring hot cocoa, gifts, music. But when illness took her, Christmas died with her. Ethan had tried to bury himself in work, in meetings, in numbers. But grief doesn't disappear. It waits, silently, until a night like this. Snow fell slowly. The hospital lights glowed behind him. He sat on the cold bench, staring at his trembling hands. He whispered into the dark, "Clara, I miss you." For once, the strong CEO wasn't strong at all. A single tear escaped. That's when he heard tiny footsteps. "Excuse me." The voice was soft. A small figure stood beside him. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, wearing a pink coat 2 sizes too big. Her cheeks were red from the cold, but her eyes held warmth Ethan hadn't seen in years. "You're crying," she whispered. Ethan quickly wiped his face. "I'm fine." "No, you're not," she said confidently. "Only people who feel alone talk like that." He froze. This child could see the truth he hid from the world. "What's your name?" Ethan asked. "Ava," she said proudly. "And you're Mr. Lonely." Ethan choked on a laugh. "That's not my name." "But that's how you feel." His breath caught. "How do you know?" Ava pointed to his chest. "Because your heart is sad. I can see it." Then she did something he never expected. She took his hand, her tiny fingers wrapped around his trembling ones, as if she had done it 1,000 times. "You need a hug," she said very seriously. Ethan was too stunned to respond. But then, she hugged him. A small, warm, gentle hug that broke something deep inside him. He closed his eyes. For the first time in years, a sense of peace. After a moment, Ava stepped back and studied him. "You know," she whispered, "no one should be alone on Christmas Eve." Ethan swallowed hard. "I don't have anyone." Ava smiled softly. "That's okay." She pointed behind her. "My mom's inside. She works here. You can borrow her." Ethan blinked. "What?" Ava nodded as if it was the most obvious solution in the world. "She gives the best hugs. She makes people feel better. She can help you too." His voice cracked. "Why would you offer that to me?" Ava shrugged. "Because you look like you need a mom today. And my mom says we should help sad people." Ethan felt his throat tighten. This child felt more compassion than all the people he'd known in business. "Where's your mom?" he whispered. Ava pointed to the hospital doorway. "She's helping sick kids tonight. But when she's done, we can spend Christmas together." Ethan felt something warm inside him, something he thought he'd lost forever. Hope. Before he could respond, a nurse rushed out of the hospital. "Ava, there you are." Ava turned. The nurse looked panicked. "Ava, your mom fainted. We're taking her to the emergency room." Ethan stood up instantly. "What happened?" he asked sharply. The nurse stared at him, confused. "She's been working double shifts for weeks. She collapsed from exhaustion." Ava's eyes filled with tears. "Mommy? Mommy's hurt?" The nurse hesitated. They didn't have enough staff. Too many patients. Too much chaos. Ava clutched Ethan's hand. "Please, Mr. Lonely, come with me. Mommy needs us." Her voice shook, with a fear Ethan knew all too well. And without thinking, without hesitation, Ethan lifted her into his arms. "I'm here," he whispered. "You're not alone." He rushed inside. Cold CEO, gone. This was a man trying to save the only light he'd felt in years. They reached the emergency room. Ava's mother, Lily, a gentle-faced woman in her early 30s, lay unconscious on the bed, pale, weak, breathing slowly. Ava cried out, "Mommy, wake up!" Doctors held her back. "She's stable," one said, "but she needs rest. We'll keep her overnight." Ava turned to Ethan. Her voice was tiny. "Mister, will Mommy be okay?" Ethan knelt down. "I won't let anything happen to her." Ava threw her little arms around his neck and sobbed. "I don't want to be alone." Her words stabbed straight into his heart. He lifted her gently. "You won't be. Not tonight. Not ever again." A doctor approached him. "Sir, are you family?" Ethan looked at Ava, then at Lily unconscious on the bed, and he whispered the words that would change all their lives. "Tonight, I am." He only wanted to comfort a child on Christmas Eve. He never expected the child, and her unconscious mother, to pull him into a moment that would transform his entire life. Because the moment Ethan whispered, "Tonight, I am," everything changed. Ava clung to Ethan's neck, her tiny fingers shaking, as they stood beside Lily's hospital bed. Lily looked fragile, exhausted, a woman who carried the weight of the world alone, until her body finally collapsed under it. Machines beeped softly, nurses moved around them, but Ava only stared at her mother. "Mommy, please wake up." Her voice cracked little and trembling. Ethan tightened his arms around her. "I'm here, Ava, I'm not leaving." For a moment, the powerful CEO felt powerless. He could buy companies, he could influence nations, but he couldn't buy time, or undo exhaustion, or erase the years Lily had sacrificed. But what he could do was fight for her now. A doctor approached Ethan. "Sir, Lily is severely dehydrated and exhausted. She's stable but emotionally and physically drained." Ava's lower lip quivered. "Is she gonna die?" "No," the doctor said gently. "She just needs rest." Ava breathed shakily, relief mixed with fear. Ethan stood up straighter. "What does she need?" "Anything. Just say it." The doctor blinked, surprised. "She needs treatment, recovery time, and to stop overworking." Ethan frowned. "Why is she working double shifts?" The doctor hesitated. "She's a single mother. She refused to take Christmas off because she wanted to buy gifts for Ava." Ava's eyes widened. "She did it. For me." Ethan bent down and held her. "She loves you more than her own life." Ava's tears spilled over. "I want to help her too, mister." She buried her face in his chest. "I don't want her to be tired anymore." Ethan closed his eyes. He felt something he hadn't in years. Purpose. A nurse returned. "Sir, visiting hours are almost over." Ava panicked. "No, I'm not leaving Mommy." The nurse sighed softly. "Ava, sweetheart, she needs to rest." Ava turned to Ethan, desperate, lost. "Mister, please, don't let them take me away." Ethan stood tall. "She stays." The nurse blinked. "Sorry, but rules." Ethan pulled out his CEO ID card, a badge that opened every door in the city. "My foundation funds this entire pediatric wing," he said quietly. "And this little girl is not leaving her mother." The nurse's eyes widened. She nodded and stepped back. Ava looked at Ethan like he had just moved mountains. "Mister, why are you helping us?" Ethan swallowed hard. "Because someone kind helped me once, too. Tonight, I remember what that felt like." Ava hugged him tightly. "You're a good person." Ethan felt something break inside him, a wall he'd built around his heart. Hours passed. Ava eventually fell asleep in Ethan's lap, her tiny hand still holding Lily's. Ethan didn't move, not an inch, not even when his leg went numb. Then, Lily stirred. Her eyes fluttered open. She saw the lights, the hospital, her daughter asleep, and then, Ethan. Confusion crossed her face. "Ethan? What are you doing here?" His voice softened in a way he didn't recognize. "You fainted." "Ava came to me outside. I brought her, and you're safe now." Lily tried to sit up, wincing. "I'm so sorry. I didn't want her to worry." Ethan shook his head. "Lily, stop apologizing. You've carried everything alone for too long." She blinked, surprised by his tone. A single tear ran down her cheek. "I just wanted Ava to have a Christmas gift. I only had enough for one. I thought if I worked more—" Ethan moved closer. "You don't owe anyone an explanation. Least of all to me." Lily stared at him, really stared, and saw something unexpected. A man whose eyes were full of pain, and something else. Gratitude. Suddenly, Ava woke up. "Mommy!" Lily opened her arms weakly. Ava jumped onto the bed, crying and laughing at once. "I thought you were going to leave me." Ava sobbed. Lily held her tightly. "Never, baby, never." Ethan watched, his chest tightening at the raw love between them. Ava pulled Ethan's hand toward her mother. "Mommy, this is the man I told you about. He was crying outside, and I let him borrow you." Lily's face turned red. "Ava, honey." Ethan actually laughed, a sound he hadn't made in years. "It's okay," he said gently. "She saved me tonight." Lily looked at him confused. "Saved you? I didn't even know." "Yes," Ethan said quietly. "Because of you, Ava wasn't alone. And because of her, neither was I." Lily's breath hitched. Ava climbed between them, smiling through tears. "Can we spend Christmas together? All three of us?" Lily froze. "Sweetheart, Ethan has his own plans." Ethan shook his head. "No, Lily, I don't." He took a slow breath, his heart speaking before his mind could stop it. "I want to spend Christmas with you. Both of you." Lily's lips parted. "Why, us?" Ethan looked at them, the first warmth he'd felt in years filling his chest. "Because tonight, you gave me something I thought I'd lost forever." Ava whispered, "What's that, mister?" Ethan smiled softly. "Family." A silence fell, gentle, warm, full. Then Lily whispered, "Ethan, we'd be honored." Ava squealed and hugged them both at once. Snow fell softly outside. The hospital glowed warm. And inside that small room, a CEO, a tired mother, and a little girl with a giant heart accidentally became a family. On the one night meant for miracles, they found theirs.